Welcome to our channel, where we delve into the unsettling, the unexplainable, and the utterly terrifying. Tonight we venture into the neon-lit labyrinths of arcades, those havens of joystick warriors and pixelated quests, which sometimes harbor secrets darker than the darkest corners of our imaginations. We bring you 3 spine-chilling true stories that happened in arcades, tales whispered in hushed tones by those who dared to experience them firsthand. Turn off the lights, sit back and prepare to be terrified. Prepare to be... Our first tale takes us back to the nostalgic days of dimly lit arcades, buzzing with the sounds of frantic button mashing and the thrill of digital victory. It was in this vibrant, almost frenetic atmosphere that a solitary arcade cabinet stood, shrouded in an unsettling silence. The game? Unknown. Its screen remained perpetually dark, a black mirror reflecting nothing but the apprehensive faces of those who dared to approach. Whispers circulated amongst the regulars, tales of a machine haunted by the ghost of a disgruntled gamer, forever trapped within the digital purgatory he'd so fiercely loved in life. They spoke of strange, disembodied laughter, echoing from the machine's speakers when the arcade was empty, a chilling sound that sent shivers down the spines of even the most skeptical. One evening, as the arcade buzzed with its usual Friday night crowd, a group of teenagers gathered around the silent cabinet. Emboldened by their youthful bravado and the safety of numbers, they dared to challenge the machine's eerie stillness. One of them, a lanky boy with a mop of unruly brown hair, stepped forward and dropped a coin into the slot. The machine whirred to life, its screen flickering with a chaotic display of static and distorted colors. A collective gasp escaped the onlookers as a high-pitched whine, like the cry of some wounded digital beast, pierced the air. Then, just as suddenly, silence. The screen went dark, the unsettling whine ceased, and the machine returned to its usual state of ominous inactivity. Days turned into weeks, and the haunted arcade machine continued to be a source of both fascination and fear. Those brave enough to attempt to play it reported experiencing a range of unsettling phenomena. Some claimed that the joystick moved on its own, guiding their digital avatars through the game with an eerie autonomy. Others swore they saw fleeting glimpses of a spectral figure lurking in the flickering light of the screen, a shadowy form that vanished as quickly as it appeared. The arcade owner, a pragmatic man with a healthy dose of skepticism, dismissed these stories as the overactive imaginations of impressionable teenagers. However, even he couldn't deny the growing sense of unease that seemed to permeate the air around the haunted machine. One particularly slow afternoon, a young woman named Sarah found herself drawn to the mysterious cabinet. Intrigued by the local legends and undeterred by the chilling tales, she decided to try her luck. As she approached the machine, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched, her every move scrutinized by unseen eyes. Our next tale takes us to the outskirts of a forgotten town, where time seemed to stand still amidst the decaying remnants of a bygone era. It was here, in the ghostly silence of an abandoned arcade, that a group of urban explorers stumbled upon a sight that would chill them to their very core. The arcade, once a vibrant hub of youthful energy and digital escapism, now stood as a desolate monument to forgotten dreams. Its neon signs hung askew, their once vibrant colors faded to a sickly yellow, casting long, eerie shadows across the dusty floors. Armed with flashlights and a thirst for adventure, the group cautiously made their way through the shattered glass doors of the abandoned arcade. The air hung heavy with the smell of dust and decay, a pungent aroma that spoke of years of neglect and forgotten memories. As they ventured deeper into the building, their footsteps echoing through the cavernous space, they couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched, their presence unwelcome in this forgotten realm of shadows and silence. The flickering beams of their flashlights danced across rows of silent arcade cabinets, their screens dark and lifeless. Posters of forgotten heroes and pixelated villains peeled from the walls, their once vibrant colors now muted and faded. The air grew colder as they descended into the basement, a damp and oppressive space that seemed to absorb all light and sound. It was down here, in the bowels of the abandoned arcade, that they encountered the shadowy figure. It stood at the end of a long, narrow corridor, its form obscured by the impenetrable darkness. At first, they dismissed it as a trick of the light, their minds playing tricks on them in the unsettling atmosphere. But as they cautiously approached, their flashlights illuminating more of the figure's haunting form, they realized with growing dread that they were not alone. The figure was tall and slender, its edges blurring in and out of focus as if it were composed of smoke and shadows. It wore a long, flowing garment that seemed to writhe and contort around its form, like liquid darkness given life. Its face, if it could be called that, was obscured by the hood, but the explorers could sense its gaze fixed upon them, cold and calculating. A collective gasp escaped the group as they stumbled backward, their hearts pounding in their chests. One of them, a young woman named Emily, cried out in terror as the figure took a step towards them, its movements fluid and unnatural. Panic surged through the group as they turned and fled, their flashlights bouncing wildly in the darkness as they raced back through the abandoned arcade. Chapter 3: Specters of the Retro Arcade. Our final tale takes us to a popular retro arcade, a haven for gamers seeking a nostalgic escape into the pixelated worlds of their youth. It was a place where the ghosts of gaming past came to life, where the sounds of classic jingles and the frantic clatter of joysticks filled the air. But beneath the veneer of innocent fun, a darkness lurked, a series of unexplained events that hinted at a more sinister presence. It began subtly at first, a series of minor glitches and strange occurrences that could easily be dismissed as technical malfunctions or overactive imaginations. Games would reset without warning, characters would move erratically, and strange distorted sounds would emanate from the speakers. But as the days turned into weeks, the incidents grew increasingly frequent and increasingly disturbing. One evening, a group of friends gathered at the retro arcade for their weekly gaming session. As they huddled around their favorite cabinets, lost in the familiar worlds of Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, and Galaga, they began to notice that something was amiss. The air grew heavy with a palpable sense of unease, and the once familiar sounds of the arcade seemed to take on a distorted, almost sinister quality. One of the friends, a young man named Jason, stepped away from his game to grab a drink from the vending machine. As he turned back towards his friends, he noticed something strange out of the corner of his eye. The screen of the Miss Pac-Man cabinet, which had been dark moments before, was now flickering to life, the familiar maze glowing with an eerie intensity. Curious, Jason approached the machine, his heart pounding in his chest. As he drew closer, he realized that the game was playing by itself, the titular Miss Pac-Man navigating the maze with an eerie precision. There was no one at the controls, no joystick movements, no button presses. The game was running on its own, controlled by an unseen force. A cold shiver ran down Jason's spine as he watched in disbelief. He called out to his friends, his voice trembling with a mixture of fear and excitement. They gathered around the Miss Pac-Man cabinet, their eyes wide with a mixture of awe and trepidation. As they watched the game unfold, they couldn't shake the feeling that they were witnessing something truly extraordinary, something that defied all logical explanation. Word of the haunted arcade game spread throughout the arcade, drawing curious onlookers and skeptical gamers alike. Some dismissed it as a publicity stunt, a clever marketing ploy to drum up business. Others whispered of ghosts in the machine, the spirits of long-dead gamers seeking one last chance to achieve digital glory. One particularly brave soul, a seasoned gamer with a reputation for scoffing at the supernatural, decided to challenge the ghostly Miss Pac-Man to a duel. He dropped a coin into the slot, gripped the joystick, and prepared to face his digital adversary. The game began, the familiar theme music playing, and the two Pac-Men raced through the maze, gobbling up dots and avoiding the pursuing ghosts. But as the game progressed, the seasoned gamer found himself struggling to keep up. The ghostly Miss Pac-Man seemed to anticipate his every move, outmaneuvering him at every turn. Frustration turned to fear as he realized that he was not playing against a mere computer program, but against something far more intelligent, far more sinister. The glow of the arcade, once a beacon of fun and excitement, now takes on a new, unsettling meaning. As you navigate the digital landscapes of your favorite games, remember the stories we've shared tonight. If you enjoyed these terrifying tales, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more spine-tingling stories. Share your own scary arcade experiences in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe and keep the lights on, for you never know what lurks in the shadows when the pixels fade to black.